I might have gone insane. This is going to be my third video today. I'm just trying out a new series because why not? Basically, all my homework is just revised stuff because I've got a biology and a maths test both on Wednesday, which is great. Well, sometime in the future at least. Maybe not on Wednesday, but sometime. So, and a French revision. But I always have a French vocab test on Monday. So I gave biology and French good hour revision, because if I'm awake 14 hours today, that's a seventh of my day. I'm still told to revise more than that, so no. But anyway, yeah, that's why. Yeah. Oh well. Biology was alright. French. And maths was alright. I'm not very good at maths, though. At least not in my opinion. Chinese Empire. They're the second strongest country in the world, economically, and also militarily. So, yeah, there you go. Second strongest country in the world. Let's see them make an empire. Their capital city, like in all my other episodes where we have yellow countries, is going to be purple. There we go. Their allies can look like this, and their captured territory, or puppet states, will be coloured like this. You know the drill. You watched the other one, didn't you? Go watch it, you scumbag. Anyway, to start off their new empire, the Chinese will be declaring war on Mongolia. Now, how well do you think this is going to go? The Chinese spearhead towards Ulaanbaatar, take it, and it turns out there's no one else anywhere in Mongolia. So they take the country in a lot of ease. Why don't the Russians just attack Mongolia? Don't attack Ukraine, attack Mongolia. Anyway, so there's now 8 million Mongols in China. We had 5 million before. But that's 8 million. There's more Mongols in Inner Mongolia than there are in Outer Mongolia. The problem with the Chinese Empire is lots of the countries China wants to imperialize on are on land. So it's not really as like going across water as the American one was, because the American was like, oh, we're going to take the Caribbean and like go down to South America and go to Central America, and eventually they linked it all up, but not quite here. Anyway, they've got a few ideas. You know who they really want to take down? Taiwan. Makes sense. However, they're going to need to get a lot of power to be able to take down Taiwan, because Taiwan's got some mean friends. So let's look at the Chinese enemies. They're going to be coloured purple, because purple is the opposite of yellow. So, no confusion there. And it is. That's what art taught me in year 7. So, yeah. I don't have to do art anymore, because art's stressful and I'm not good at it. North Korea is of course their friend. As for their other friends like Laos, Laos might not be having a great day today. India could also be part of this alliance, but not technically, because these countries are all allied. And I got rid of the rest of the alliances in the world, so if for some reason China made it all the way to Europe, there's no NATO. They'd just be like compelled by friendship to join into this war. So you're going to join and help another country. It wouldn't be like, oh, well, all of the NATO members have to help each other out. That's another thing in this series, which I forgot to mention. Anyway, China is going to be heading over into Central America, and they're going to be attacking Kyrgyzstan. And I can't remember which one of these two has their capital in Bishkek, but it's one of them, and I feel like it's these guys. So they take that somewhere. I take out Kyrgyzstan, and from there they launch an assault into this bit of Tajikistan. So they cut off this bit, they go off here. They've already taken this exclave, and basically very easily they take out the country of Tajikistan. Now, how much economy did that bring the Chinese? Literally none. I don't think they really gained anything from annexing the nation of Kyrgyzstan and the other nation of Tajikistan. So far, China's annexed literally nothing. So that's great. I mean, not literally nothing. These guys are alright. But I mean, Mongolia, this isn't a huge empire really, is it, China? I mean, Mongolia is big in land, just not in population. So let's go to somewhere with more stuff. And that place being Laos. I mean, Laos is their friend. So, in actual fact, the Chinese just actually take over Laos and just force them to join the Chinese Empire. So, that's cool. And from there, they're going to launch an invasion into Vietnam. So they launch an invasion from Hainan and quickly take Hanoi. Over here, southern troops in Vietnam manage to cut off this bit. And yeah, as for the central region, they're going to close down on that pretty quickly. They take out the northern bit. People flee to Saigon. However, they bring in their ally Cambodia. Like, hey, intercept those people, Cambodia. Cambodia kind of fails, but with Chinese support, and basically Chinese just arriving and doing it themselves, they take it down and eventually take out the entire state of Vietnam. From here, they turn around and invade Cambodia, so they head for Phnom Penh, and now that's 2 videos. 2 of our 2 Empire videos, so we've had Indochina being invaded by the Empire. I don't think the Germans are going to do it next time, but they might. So I would watch out, because so far it's 100% attack rate for Vietnam. Anyway, that's cool for the Chinese, I suppose. Empire stuff. Next up, they're invading Bhutan. Why not? Bhutan, you've been invaded, mate. So they take the capital really easily, and from there they just annex the country. Same sort of deal for Nepal, and this is going to frighten the Indians. It's going to frighten the Indians so much so that it causes them to join the Purple Alliance. Nice. And China's a bit like, dude, what is wrong with you, mate? Why did you have to do that? China's looking cool, though. I mean, China do be looking pretty strong at the moment. However, they are surrounded by a load of other powerful nations, who probably need their capital cities. Phnom Penh is somewhere up here. They're their friend, though. They might annex North Korea later, though. Seoul is, like, up here, I think. Tokyo, Taipei, Manila, New Delhi. Yeah, the Chinese have got a new target, however, and that is so they can imperialize these waters. And this country is Myanmar, who got attacked in the last episode, but, I mean, actually they joined the war against the Americans, so yeah, you can't say anything, Myanmar. The Chinese make a pretty good invasion into, I think, the Islamic parts of the country. There's like a Buddhist Islamic split, I think, in Myanmar. However, what they really want is the coastal bit, so yeah. From there, they're going to go along the southern bit, because, I mean, people are fleeing into India. The Indians probably don't really want them, though, do they? I mean, they might. And they probably don't take the peninsula that easily, however, who cares? They do in this. They curl around this bit, and they take the capital, whatever in the world that is. I think it's down here. There's a lot of I think in this invasion of Myanmar. I think I don't know much about Myanmar. Eventually, they go around the rest of the jungly areas, and people come up from the south, taking out the entire Myanmar state. So, yeah, you're definitely not doing as well as the Purple Myanmar country in my Civilization series. History rewritten. Yeah, they're doing really well. I like them a lot. Because they're purple, and they're dark purple, and purple is a cool colour. Can you guess where the Chinese are going to invade next? I know I can. It's Thailand. Right. Yeah, Thailand. You should have seen this one coming, mate. Basically, the Chinese are going to cut off this section over here and separate the Thai state. They cut around this bit. They cut off this bit over here. And they cut off this bit over here. Thailand is not doing very well. Incidentally, this bit's taken, and they go around this bit. They're basically about to take Bangkok. Oh my god. Now you're taking the entire coast. They run down this Malay sort of peninsula thing. And from here, they take Thailand's coast, and then just move in towards taking the central parts of Thailand. Beautiful stuff. Right. So Thailand's been taken down, and now China has fully imperialized Southeast Asia. Mainland. Minus Singapore and Malaysia. So don't worry about that. But yeah, I mean, it looks better for them. Some other countries might want Chinese support on things though. Because India is preparing their military very quickly at the moment. They are militarizing to a great degree. And which countries would want Chinese support? How about Bangladesh? I think Bangladesh is good friends with China. I don't think they like the Indians loads. Where's Dhaka? It's like here. It's in Bangladesh. So yeah, they're a Chinese ally now. I don't care what you say. They are now. Where do the Chinese go next? Actually, to be fair, you might as well just take out Malaysia. Because that's some very strategical positioning there near the Filipinos. So you might as well. They launch an invasion into Malaysia. So Malaysia is split between 2 bits. means you need to split your forces into 2 bits, or just overrun the country. So they head around this coast over here, which is where the British first started their colonization of Malaysia. And they're going to go across to this bit, separating off their Malacca Strait control thing, and sort of encircling this bit. They declare war on the Singapore people, and they just take that. I don't care if they're the 30-second economy. You'll have your video sometime soon, Singapore, just not quite yet. From there, they launch 2 different invasions into this bit, and like with when they got to the southern tip of Malaysia, once they get to Brunei, they just take that too. Because they might as well. I mean, who's really going to stop you from taking Brunei? Like, who cares enough? Not me. So Brunei is captured, and it just makes the borders look a bit nicer, really. Indonesia is very afraid because the Chinese are very close to them. So actually, the Chinese might be making more enemies than the Americans were. But also, I think there's just more people who are afraid and don't like the Chinese. Like, there's just more of an already pre-existing nearby enemy group. Like, the Americans didn't really have a nearby enemy group. And especially not one made up of countries that could defeat them. Like Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua doesn't even hate them too much. And they're not going to do anything, man. So here's China as a terrifying empire. How about they get themselves a new ally? That being Pakistan, because the Indians joined this alliance, so really that means Pakistan has to join this one. Islamabad is going to be the capital. India has done something though, and that's an invasion of Sri Lanka, which they take very easily, and they're a bit annoyed about that. So China and Pakistan are going to work together to invade Afghanistan. We have Pakistani troops trying to get towards Kabul, which I think is over here, but I don't really know. And the Chinese start their invasion from the north, and the Pakistanis mostly go from Islamabad. And they head around the southern end of this country, and I mean, even Iran's kind of thinking about getting on this, but the Chinese are like, no, I'm an imperial empire now, go away. So they take out the entirety of Afghanistan together, and as a peace treaty, yeah, it looks something like this. That looks alright. It shows more cooperation between Pakistan and China and strengthens their bond, as Pakistan is definitely, I think, the strongest ally the Chinese have procured. So that's good for them. I mean, what are they going to do now? China's got a few options. They could go into Central Asia. But I think what they'd like to do, probably, is go to Africa. I mean, the Americans went to Africa. You might as well too. So these Pakistani borders now are disgusting. Where's China going to go to? How about they go attack some of their friends? They might as well. I thought I was going to pull up a map of Chinese neo-colonialism and just make them attack all the countries that they have a huge economic control over. Might as well just make them attack Somalia though. So the Chinese make a landing over here in this bit. What's the capital of Somalia? I don't know. What I do know about Somalia is they have lots of separatist groups. So along with the Chinese invasion, you have Jubaland in the south, which is a piece of territory that was occupied by Kenya, and then the Italians got after World War I, and nobody talks about. Nobody also talks about how Portugal got like this bit of Mozambique after World War I. So I mean, just like some more facts for you, I suppose. We'll make these rebel groups red. Why is there loads of white dots in Jubaland? I don't know. Anyway, from here, we have the Somaliland chaps invading some more stuff. You guys take some stuff. You guys get lots of things. And we have all of this happen. Pretty interesting front lines out here in Somalia. The land's not great, but the positioning is good. I mean, like, if you got all this stuff and actually made it good, then you can make loads of money, which is kind of what the Blue Ethiopian country did in my other series, which I keep referencing for no particular reason. Anyway, how about a third party onto this war, that being Ethiopia. So Ethiopia is going to join against Somaliland and Jubaland. They make pretty good headway into these two countries. You can have this colour. And they also meet up with the Gulf of Aden. And the Chinese, they're going to be like, right, we need to get on this land right now. So they start a push into Somaliland and take out the rest of the country. Whilst Ethiopia takes the old Kenyan bits, China will take the remaining coastline. So yeah, we have it looking like this. In a peace treaty, they just kind of take the bits they've occupied. But I mean, do you think China's content with this? Do you think China's happy with how this has gone? No. No, they were meant to get all of Somalia. Have they got all of Somalia? No, they haven't. Who's got the rest of Somalia? Ethiopia. So unfortunately, that means that Ethiopia, just after getting out of this war, will be invaded by the Chinese. So they cut across this Kenyan bit. From here they'll reinvade the newly captured Somaliland territory, which rises up in rebellion again. This time against the Ethiopians. They take this, and now they start a movement towards the capital, which I think is Addis Ababa. I think it's somewhere over here. The Eritreans are going to join this war against Ethiopia. Might not have been the best of ideas, but oh well. What does this colour look like? Eritrea. There you go. You can join this war too. Actually, let's just switch the colours around, because, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. I just ended up doing that. The Chinese will make a spearhead for where I think Addis Ababa is, and it turns out it is in this scenario, even if it actually isn't. They moved it there, just for the purpose of this scenario. So they take that with relative ease, and they push towards this, probably fault line. I'm sure it's fine. Eritrea kind of does alright. I think they're a pretty militarized country, in that, like, they force other people into the military. Isn't that why Africa's North Korea? I think so. And in the end, we have the division of Ethiopia looking something like this. However, can you see the problem here? Because I know I can. The Chinese joined this war so they could get all the stuff from Ethiopia. However, does this look like all of Ethiopia? No. Who's got the rest of Ethiopia? These guys. Eritrea. I kind of just keep this joke running. No. And that's how China ended up annexing all of the world. No, so they decided they need to attack Eritrea, and at this point, Eritrea, not doing anything now. They cut across to the coast, they take all this newly captured stuff, most of it. They take the rest of it as well, and from here they just cut some lines across Eritrea. Eritrea is not a very powerful country, and they lose this war, unsurprisingly. Djibouti, my friend. You're not looking like you are in the best of spots, are you? So unfortunately, Djibouti is taken down by the Chinese Empire. Yeah, poor guy. And they're annexed into this imperial state. There's probably a few more bits that China would like to annex, like Madagascar and Mozambique, probably. But who cares? I don't care. I don't care. How about we have the Chinese have a big war relatively soon? Not quite yet, though, because they're not done with Central America. This is not Central America. Central Asia. The Chinese, all at once, will invade, these guys. Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan. I know my countries. Yippee. Tashkent. That's your capital. Your capital, though? I don't know. How am I to know? Leave me alone. Anyway, so they'll unite their front line against the two countries. Turkmenistan is a huge autocracy, and Uzbekistan I don't really know. Anyway, this group of Uzbekistan, whatever it is, I know there's a separatist group here, they rise up against the Uzbeks. And that's very helpful if you're a Chinese imperialist. It means that Uzbekistan is significantly weaker now, and you're occupying both these bits. As for Turkmenistan, you just lost your ally, who I think is actually stronger than you, so that really doesn't look good. They don't have separatist groups though, they've just got a huge autocracy, so oh well. And approaching the coast, it becomes slightly difficult, but not too bad, because it's the second strongest country in the world versus Turkmenistan. So they end up taking down the country. From here, they're going to invade the rebellion, and they take that. And what did you expect? And Chinese imperialism is basically done in this area. Time for a big war? I think so. I'm kind of wondering, do I want to keep the big war bit secret? I kind of do. So I might just print screen right here. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, time for a big war, I think. The Chinese have some random colonies around the world now. Well, not that far, just like over here in Africa. The Indians are kind of, yeah. Horn of Africa was our stuff, wasn't it? They're also getting themselves a new ally, that being Yemen. I don't really know where the Yemeni capital is. It's probably not in great shape if you look at historical events that have happened in Yemen. But time for a war, I think. So the Chinese, they're like, I'm going to go after Taiwan, you know. I'm a strong country, what can Taiwan do? And then their entire alliance activates and the Chinese goes, oh yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, oopsie. So, the Chinese will start their invasion through North Korea into South Korea, which goes relatively oh well. Okay. They can't land on Taiwan, however they do make a landing in the Philippines, which the Filipinos did not expect, because they forgot the Chinese were down here. They probably didn't, but let's say they did. Oh my god. And they start taking islands very quickly from the Filipinos. Over here in India, it's not going great. The Indians are surrounded on all sides, except for in Sri Lanka. The Pakistanis managed to take lots of the coast. Over here, Kashmir and the other bit that begins with a T, well, that's taken. And we also have Bengal and China work on taking this huge deserty bit. Deserty, swampy bit. So, not going great for the Indians. Over here, though, in Arabia, we have the Omani guys join the war against, whatever it is, against Yemen. And we also have Sudan join against the Chinese Empire in Ethiopia. So they push into, whatever this is, Eritrea. The reason why they're doing this, because it might seem a bit silly they're doing this, is because they want to get control of Ethiopia so they can cause the Chinese not to build a dam, because they're worried the Chinese might build a dam. As for Oman, they just want Yemen. I don't know. Give me a break. Oh, okay. No, it's fine. Anyway, the Himalayas are kind of stopping invasions over here. We just don't care about the Himalayas in this bit, because why would you? There's also mountains on here, but I don't. Shush. Shush. Shut your mouth. Doesn't matter. The Andaman Islands are going to be taken by the Chinese. Yippee. Oh. And India, I mean, we just... Himalayas don't exist anymore. Woohoo. Woohoo, is that good? And they also make a new landing on this coast. What's over here in India that I know exists? Pondicherry's down here. Don't know what it's called anymore. Oh well, who cares? Probably the Indians. Pakistan's doing pretty well at invading India, which is not making the Indians happy at all. Back over here to Eastern Asia. The Filipinos are losing even more islands to the Chinese Empire. However, over here in South Korea, they've flipped the tides of war. See, South Koreans have pushed back against the North Korean advance because China's worrying about other parts of the world, mostly India, and they're getting pretty close to taking the capital of North Korea, which they managed to do. Interestingly enough, it seems there's been a ban put on nuclear bombs, so they're not allowed to launch any of those. I think that's just like the YouTuber which makes this world said no, don't do it. So South Korea's taken most of North Korea, which is cool. As for the rest of this war, the Chinese need to focus on this stuff, really. I feel like the Yemenese capital's over here. I don't know what it's called. what it does. The Chinese are focused on this Eritrean coast, whilst the Sudanese help push in the southern areas, because why not? However, the Chinese have actually launched an invasion into Sudan, and Sudan's going, wait a minute, well, that's my coast, and all the bits with the Nile in it, so don't take the Nile away, because we need that. Yemen, they're just letting that die. It's Yemen. It's not the strongest economy in the world. It's actually the second most unstable country in the world, after Somalia. They were. They're not that unstable anymore. They're Chinese. The Chinese are now trying to work at getting behind the Sudanese front lines, which is scary if you're Sudanese, because you might get surrounded in a second. That's not good. As for apparently South Sudan not existing, they got re-annexed apparently. Who cares? I don't know whether the hole is in your borders, but apparently it's somewhere. Where? I find it very cool. I find it. That's basically what Sudan looks like, and you can't prove me wrong. But now this is even worse, so troops are going to start retreating from Ethiopia, or Chinese Ethiopia. I don't know what Ethiopia is called in Chinese, so oh well. As for Yemen, it's not going well over here for you guys, as Oman is making some incredible strides toward taking all your stuff. As for India, well, Mumbai has just been taken, and so's New Delhi, so that was probably harder than it looked. Also, I mean, like, you're in the Sindh plain. There's a big plain over here, so it's pretty easy to invade with infantry. Also, probably easier to invade with horses. I'm not sure people really use horses anymore, unfortunately, in conventional war, so probably just tanks. Anyway, as for the Philippines, you've capitulated. As for Taiwan, womp womp, the southern bit of your island has been taken. As for North Korea, uh-oh, that's your ally down. And as for Russia, yeah, they've just joined the war against you. What? What? Yeah, so the Russians joined the war, and, I don't know, new Tuvan Prime Minister in Russia. Because they want Mongolia, apparently. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. So the Russians have joined this war against China, also because they're afraid that China will just try and imperialize them. Over here in Sudan, well. Not gone too well, has it? You've been surrounded, you've been captured, you've been capitulated. Great. Over here in Yemen, it was going so well. It got taken over by the Omani guys. However, the Chinese just finished taking down Sudan, so, well, that wasn't so good, is it? And Oman has been captured, along with that exclave, which apparently doesn't exist in this world. As for India, you're just falling apart in uncharacteristic ease. They take Madras, which is somewhere down here, I think. They work up this side. I remember we did about India in school. I was like, oh, name a city in India. And it was like this picture on the board of India. And the city they chose is Goa. However, they'd say goo, because it looked like goo on the board. So, I found that a bit funny, because everyone thought there was a city called Goo in India. Anyway, it made me chuckle. I need help. As for Mongolia, that's really falling over to the Russians at this point, which is not good. Nicht good. And probably, to be honest, like Belarus and Armenia and Kazakhstan will also join this war. However, I don't care, because I'm on a time constraint. China's going to push over into the far eastern areas of Russia, which makes the Russians slightly afraid because Vladivostok has been taken, and also North Korea has been recaptured. We have the capturing of Sakhalin, which makes them even more afraid. And as for India, it collapses. I don't care. Taiwan's just been taken. However, the Russians are doing significantly better than they predicted, which is scary, because it's Russia, and they're not even beating this guy. So this is a bit terrifying. However, the Chinese just developed a new plan, which is Astrakhan, and they take the entire Caucasian Caspian coast of Russia, which terrifies the Russians so much that they lose all this stuff. That's how fear works. You lose Siberia. Crazy. Anyway, they're going to withdraw their troops from Mongolia to a degree. And over here in South Korea, it's getting bad. You start to get surrounded. Seoul's just been captured, and Japan loses their capital city. What? Their northernmost island. The war is now mostly focused on Russia, who's not doing too much. They lose their Mongol holdings stuff, and load of Siberia, and also get this beautiful new front line up here, and the Japanese are just going to quit, because why would you keep fighting at this point? So, looking at a peace treaty, naturally Taiwan is returned to China. As for the Philippines, we're just going to take a little bit of your country, that being the entire southern section. Beautiful stuff. And the Philippines is allowed to retain their independence, because why not? As for Japan, though, what do you get? I don't know. Let's just take their northernmost island. Well, that's not true, because their northernmost island isn't this one. But let's take this island anyway. As for South Korea, that's just entirely Korea now. Beautiful stuff. Well done, North Korea. Proud of you, Kim. Kim's a strange guy. Anyway, have this island taken, and this bit, along with these two sections of Russia. So that's scary. Bay didn't expect China versus Russia. You were not expecting that, because it wasn't on the thumbnail. Haha. There you go. The thumbnail's all a lie. India's going to have some stuff happen to it in a second, and it probably won't enjoy that stuff. Vladivostok is now a Chinese city. It's like one of the only few places in Russia where you're allowed to gamble. Probably already said that in a previous video, when I was in Sakhalin. I've never been to Sakhalin. I mean the Sakhalinese country. I don't know if I'd ever like to go to Sakhalin either. How about we make a new Chinese puppet government? I like that idea. Over here in the Caspian. Cool. You're a country now. This is a fun idea. Boom. I think Astrakhan might actually be in Kazakhstan, but I don't care. As this, Sudan is now another part of China and the Chinese African Empire. So that's fun. Not really. There we go. As for Yemen, you've finally done something good. You've taken out Oman. The Chinese would have probably liked a bit of Oman, but, you know. Reward your allies who did absolutely nothing. As for allies who did do something, like Pakistan and Bangladesh, you get some stuff. Bangladesh doesn't get the most useful stuff, but here's land. And Kazakhstan, yes, there we go. Kazakhstan receives all of this territory. The rest of it doesn't all go to China. A lot of it stays with India. So you have all of this staying as the Indian stuff, and you become a Chinese puppet state. There you go. It's a pretty interesting peace treaty, actually. I quite like it. Because, I mean, now China is definitely one of the strongest countries in the world. I mean, they already were. Which is why they're the second country on this list. However, they might, and they're not beating the US, I don't think, but they could potentially get there with all the population they've added. And like the fact they've got a load of the Indian plane, and loads of cool allies, and a puppet state in Russia. And the only country who's their ally is Japan, they're just going to quit. So there you go. Chinese Empire in 2024. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it. And I will see you again next time. Have a nice rest of your day. Goodbye.